Kenya's first president, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, today took to the streets of Nairobi in protest of an alleged land grabbing. Now, they marched to Harambee House to address their complaints over the 68-acre piece of land in South B area, Nairobi, which they say was gifted to them by President Jomo Kenyatta. The group has given President Uhuru Kenyatta a one-week ultimatum to address the land issue, failure to which they are threatening to pitch camp at that land.
Wana wao wamekuwa mashokola, majukuu wamekuwa mashokola, hawajasoma, wengine ni wezi kwa kukosa makao. Lakini shamba yao imekaliwa na Washomali wakitoka Somali. Ndio wanajidai huko. Ingine ni matajiri, wanajiita farosi. Ingine ni charger company, wamenyakua shamba yao. Sasa wamekuja hapa jua hiyo kilio. Tukiwasidikiza sisi agari wa serikali isikia huruma wapewe sehemu hata kidogo kabla hawajalala kama ni sawa wengine.
Tunataka leo watu ile kwa serikali matusikie, matupate hiyo kitu yetu, sababu watoto wetu manararaga ndani ya kitanda Mungu wa kitanda.
Well, I had promised to tell you what professional bodies are saying in reaction to the Garissa attack, and contrary to what the Kenya National Union of Teachers has been saying, the Association of Professional Societies in East Africa are now calling on all professionals stationed in Garissa to stay put despite the insecurity threat following Thursday's attack in Garissa that left 148 people dead. The call comes amid fears that nurses serving in Garissa had threatened to move out of the area for fear of other similar attacks. The professional body also promised to deal with radicalization within its members.
The government, of course, as we push them to ensure they do provide security in those areas, we would like to ensure that all our professionals in those areas continue to offer services to the people of Kenya, Northeastern Province included.
The Al-Shabaab or the terrorists are within us, in the professional bodies, and we take this opportunity to tell Kenyans that we will do our best to expose when we know. Right now I cannot say we know them, but we will use our code of conduct that we have prepared for every professional body to punish, to expose the terrorists.
Poverty is the biggest cause of sexual harassment, especially against children between the age of 9 and 16. Now, this is according to a report dubbed Supporting Access to Justice for Children and Youth in East Africa that was launched today by the Law Society of Kenya. Sexual violence against children tops the list by 75%. That's so disheartening, as covered by the media. Next on top of the list is child murder at 13%. And according to that report, 13 to 14-year-olds are most involved in the legal aid cases, with men being the most sexual abusers. It, however, recommends that officers handling children receive further training and children courts be friendlier to children.
Which regions did we find receiving the largest coverage in terms of violation of children's rights? Rift Valley came in, then of course the analysis was based on the then provincial demarcations that existed, and that's what we restricted the research to. Came in at
Well, we apologize for the lack of audio in that story. We'll get it back to you as soon as it's sorted. But students of the Garissa University College will be admitted at Moi University main campus in Eldoret to continue with their studies. Now, this announcement was made after a special Senate meeting, and the university says the students will be given time to heal and later be received at the university on May 20th to proceed with their courses at the main campus. Mercy Kandia reports.
Joseph Kingori helps out with the house chores at his home in Nyeri. his education cut abruptly after the Garissa University College terror attack last week. He knows he's lucky to be alive. He will be among the 646 students that will be moved to the Moi University main campus in Eldoret in May.
Kongwe, unajua Eldoret ni bahali ambapo hata sijawahi enda, ni bahali ambapo tu mimi nasikia tu, lakini nimetayarisha fikra zangu kwa sababu najua lazima kuna jukumu lazima nitimize kwa maisha, lazima nitayarishe fikra zangu venye itakuwa.
Even as 90 others continue to recover in hospital and many more trying to recover from the trauma, one of the main concerns was what's next for the students and staff at the besieged university. Parents and students especially can now breathe easy as the question of what next academically has been answered officially today by the university, saying it has capacity to accommodate the over 600 students to be transferred here at the main campus. The university's Vice Chancellor, Professor Richard Mibe, says he's committed to making it work.
So we will arrange for them to complete the academic semester, and after they complete the academic semester, then we can now integrate them with our own Moi University students.
Moi University main campus in Eldoret currently hosts over 12,000 students. The students from Garissa in their first, second and third year will now relocate to what some teaching staff at the university term as a safer environment.
When you're in Garissa, you are always looking for the day you move out of Garissa to some other part which is not Garissa. Okay, so at least that being in Eldoret or in Moi University will give us a sense of security.
Security within the campus has been beefed up, and though difficult to forget, the university located in the outskirts of Eldoret will be their new home.
So sometimes if when you think of a class environment and you see your students seated just right in front of you and you're giving a lecture, and when you try to imagine again meeting the students and some of them are missing, it can cause trauma. Okay, so some teachers, members of staff, they need counseling.
So we want to assure them that we are going to embrace them with all love, all care and all unity, so that together we can spearhead the course of our learning.
The students had just 6 weeks before the end of semester, the main university being the platform on which they get to continue their education and better their lives. Marcy Kandia, KTN, Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County.
Let's get back to Nairobi, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is currently grilling Davis Chirchir and Engineer Michael Kamau over corruption allegations in their respective ministries. Now, the engineer was the first to walk in and was shortly followed by the Energy Cabinet Secretary. And KTN's political reporter Sam Ogina is currently at Integrity Center. And Sam, if you can hear me, I understand that the KAA Managing Director Lucy Mbugua is also set to appear, if she hasn't already, at Integrity Center.
Well, in fact, Lucy Mbugua has actually appeared before the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, as well as the former Secretary to the Cabinet, Francis Kimemia. It has been a busy day for the Ethics and Anti-Corruption officials here at the Integrity Center, receiving 4 top officials who have been accused of corruption allegations in their various ministries and departments. And as I speak right now, the engineer, that is the Transport and Infrastructure Cabinet Secretary, that is Engineer Michael Kamau, has actually stepped out, not saying a word about the grilling session that he's been undergoing the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, only saying that EACC officials should be allowed to carry on with their job, and also raising concern that apparently his Twitter account has been hacked. Otherwise, he's not divulged any details about the grilling session, about the allegations that he has been accused of, about the charge sheet that was presented to him by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption officials here at the Integrity Center.
All right, Sam, I'm glad you've introduced the charge sheet. Could you please just remind our viewers what both Engineer Michael Kamau and Davis Chirchir are looking at with regards to these investigations?
Well, Engineer Michael Kamau, as the Cabinet Secretary for Transport and Infrastructure, is actually accused of having having colluded with a construction firm and ministry engineers in the construction of a road in Bungoma County. That exercise which led to massive embezzlement of funds. Now that is what Engineer Kamau is facing among other accusations. And Davis Chirichiri, the cabinet secretary for that is energy, is accused of planning to defraud taxpayers at least get this 1.4 billion shillings by attempting to influence the award of a Kenya Pipeline Company tender, together with Nairobi Senator Mike Mbuvi Sonko. Well, we know that Sonko, of course, stepped aside owing to this allegation, saying that he will not participate in his senatorial obligations like sitting in committees. Also, Davis Chirichiri faces accusations of course, the chicken gate scandal, a scandal whereby officials of the defunct Interim Independent Electoral Commission were facing allegations of bribery from a UK printing firm, that is Smith & Usman. Remember that directors of this company, Smith & Usman, were actually charged in a UK court for fraud and for bribery for that matter.
Okay.
And then Francis Kimemia, yes.
Sam, before you go into all the other details of Francis Kimemia, I'm just interested to know whether the co-accused, as we would like to call them, so like Mike Sonko Mbuvi, is he also expected to appear before the EACC? And do we know who else is going to be on their schedule?
Well, the schedule that was released by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for this month, covering the whole of this month, Mike Mbuvi Sonko does not appear anywhere in the schedule, but with that today it was 4 individuals, that is Francis Kimemia, with the Managing Director of Kenya Airports Authority, my engineer Michael Kamau, and David Chirichiri. And tomorrow we know that the Cabinet Secretary, the suspended Cabinet Secretary for Labour, Kezum Kambi, will also be appearing before the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Remember that Kambi is facing accusations of a support of the Tapia 2 project, a project that it is alleged that was the figure for that particular project was actually inflated upwards.
Well, thank you very much, Sam Ogina. Of course, a lot of issues to cover, and therefore he's going to remain at Integrity Center until those meetings are done. We, however, are going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, those numerous travel advisories against Kenya are beginning to take a serious toll on tourism. I'll be giving you the details when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to KTN Newsdesk. Let's have a look at the business now. And hotels at the coast continue to reel from the effect of numerous travel advisories that have seen tourist numbers plummet. While most hotels at the coast have shut down completely, those still in operation are looking to cut operation costs. To cut costs, hotels such as Voyager have had to implement salary cuts for the management team to keep going. KTN's Joy Doreen Bira takes a look at how hotels are in a race against time if they are to stay afloat.
Abandoned beaches, empty boats are what have characterized the beautiful sandy Mombasa beaches. A clear indication of a slump in tourist numbers at what was a booming tourist destination 2 years ago. 2015 has no better outlook for tourism, and staff at hotels like Voyager, a part of the heritage group of hotels in Mombasa, are now taking a pay cut.
You also have to be fair to owners, and you don't expect to be drawing your full salary when the business is down for the past 2 years.
The recent Garissa University College attack, coupled with the effects of travel advisories, has continuously affected tourism in coastal Kenya. The suspension of international charter flights to Mombasa brought down the number of visitors, leaving hotels' accommodation space at the mercy of domestic tourists.
Many hotels, have sent staff on unpaid leave. Some are actually laying off people. Others are retrenching.
As a possible way of survival, hotels have had to venture into sports tourism to attract both local and international tourists to keep the businesses active. Joy Doreen Bira, KTN.
Players in the energy and environmental sectors are calling for a reduction in the age limit of second-hand cars allowed into the country. Now, the players want the government to lower the importation limit from 8 to 5 years as it seeks to curb carbon emissions in the country. A survey conducted by the United Nations Environmental Programme, or UNEP if you like, on Global Fuel Initiative points out Kenya as one of the countries with the fastest growing vehicle population at a rate of 12% per year. With stricter importation policies, the agency says it will curb the pollution rate link to car exhaust emissions. However, by lowering the age limit of imported cars, they could pose a major challenge to those who can afford to buy the vehicles. You see, cars with 5 years of running tend to be more expensive compared to cars that have been on the road for 8 years. However, the Ministry of Energy and UNEP are in talks with the Kenya Revenue Authority to provide tax incentives for the importation of new cars.
We are trying to actually discuss with KRA, and we would even want to make an attempt. It is a little bit too late, but we would want to make an attempt to request the National Treasury to do something about that incentive for more efficient vehicles, because at the end of the day, the bigger picture is that there will be economic gains at the macro level. There will be reduced purchase of fuels. There will be therefore reduced need to utilize the foreign currency on fuels. That makes a big difference. It solves the balance of payments.
We need now is a policy of incentives, not a policy to increase the costs, but a policy to shift the costs to more efficient and cleaner vehicles. Consumers have a choice to make. When they buy a vehicle, they can buy a cleaner one and they can buy a dirtier one. Now there's no incentive to go for the cleaner one. They have no awareness, so they buy whatever they see.
A look at sports now. In the Kenya Premier League, defending champions Gor Mahia put aside their CAF Champions League elimination with an emphatic 3-1 win over bankers KCB in a floodlight match at the Nyayo National Stadium. Now, Medea Kagere grabbed a brace for Kogalo in the water-drenched Nyayo pitch. Watch.
Kenya Premier League defending champions Gor Mahia bounced back to the league summit after a disastrous CAF Champions League exit with a convincing 3-1 win over KCB at the Nyayo National Stadium, the first floodlight match this season. Rwandan international Medea Kagere broke the deadlock in the second minute of the match. He grabbed his brace 5 minutes before the breather in a dress rehearsal for the Mashemeji Derby on Sunday. The bankers pulled one back through Victor Majid in the 52nd minute. Innocent Wafula pulled the match beyond KCB minutes later. Gor Mahia is now on 12 points after 4 wins, similar to Western Stima, but they enjoy a superior goal difference. Western Stima lies second. Coastal side Bandari lost ground against Ulinzi Stars and were knocked off their summit patch. Ulinzi Stars and Mathare United wrap up the top 5 teams in the league log. Hassan Juma, KTN Sports.
Hassan Juma wrapping up this edition of KTN Newsdesk. But first, did you know that the more people present when someone is in crisis, then the less likely we are to help? So the bystander effect is actually a social phenomenon that was thoroughly researched in 1968 after 38 people witnessed a woman being murdered and none of them did anything. So it confirms that being near others makes us feel a lack of responsibility in any given situation. So why don't you try a bit different next time? Do something. My name is Edith Kimani. Good afternoon.